Good Thursday evening, everyone. It is Weather for Weather Geeks time. Snow is set to return over the next couple of days, so we're going to break down what to expect. A lot of people will be out and about doing some errands, some shopping, some last-minute traveling before the Christmas holiday, and so the weather is top of mind for many people. In the meantime, today was just kind of a ho-hum Thursday as expected, and, just a classic December Thursday, or a December day, any day of the week, I should say, across the valley today because temperatures just flatlined. It was either 32 or 33. In between hours, it got to 34 briefly, but it was one of those three temperatures pretty much all day today under that blanket of stratocumulus clouds. We have our next weather makers centered out across northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin this evening. This is a pretty classic-looking Alberta Clipper system. Now, as I've been talking about this week, this system is actually going to weaken some as it comes east and kind of hands off its energy to a little bit more of an East Coast low-pressure system. So what that'll mean for us is I'm not real concerned about heavy snow amounts here locally, unlike where this system still has some pep in its step out across the upper Midwest. Winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories from the Twin Cities over towards Green Bay and Milwaukee and a handful of counties in Michigan as well. Now, as we head through the overnight, despite this thing weakening, I think some snow showers and flurries will try to spread in, especially as we head towards daybreak on our Friday. So early morning risers, I think it's going to be trying to snow in a lot of the area. Now, it's going to be light. This isn't all the snow in the world, but it may be enough to cause some slick spots. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if before the morning is through, some of us had a half an inch or 3/4 of an inch or so worth of snow, just enough to maybe make for a tricky Friday morning commute. I think a lot of the midday and into the afternoon, it's not going to do much more than flurry, and the weather should be pretty low impact until maybe evening, and that's when maybe we get a couple of snow showers trying to work back in. So here's a model depiction of our Friday with the snow showers in the morning, not much midday afternoon, and then as we head towards dinner time and sunset Friday evening, I could see where, some sort of beefier snow shower tries to pivot through, but a lot of this is still going to be fairly innocuous flurries and just some mood snowflakes for us on our Friday. All right, let's talk about this lake effect setup on Saturday. I think the lake effect bands will get going pretty early in the day Saturday. In fact, we might have a lake effect streamer already impacting parts of northeast Ohio before daybreak Saturday morning. And some of this moisture will be picked up off of Lake Huron, picking up additional moisture on off of Lake Erie, I should say. And while this model depiction is surely not going to be exactly right, the overall idea here is with a northerly fetch on Saturday, these bands of lake effect are going to be able to penetrate pretty far to the south. This isn't just going to hug the lakeshore like a lot of our lake effect events so far this season. So, all the way down to the Ohio River, even into parts of West Virginia, there can be some lake effect snow showers at times on our Saturday. So these bands are going to kind of wiggle around, and anything that has a Lake Huron connection is going to be locally strong. Western PA will try to get in on the action here as we go towards midday and afternoon. And this is, one of those situations in which conditions are going to be changeable. And, 48 hours out, it's kind of impossible to say where the bands are going to be at certain times of the day. This is just going to come and go, wiggling around, and people are going to be out and about on Saturday. It's the last Saturday before Christmas, and you're going to expect, you should expect anyway, changeable conditions. You're going to go from everything's fine to maybe, a pretty good snow shower in, short order as you meander throughout the Mahoning and Shenango valleys. Now, the lake effect machine will shut down towards the end of the day Saturday, and especially into Saturday night. So, I do think that there can be some accumulations here locally. The odds of 1 inch or more worth of snow with that lake effect, of course, highest, just in the primary snow belt and then down into parts of our northern viewing area. And while the odds are lower down here, I don't want to rule out, someone trying to get an inch or so all the way down into our southern viewing area and perhaps even down into the Pittsburgh area as well. Here's what we did with our official snow map today. We think 3 to 6 is most likely once you get up towards Chardon, heading over towards Orwell and Andover, and heading over towards Meadville over in Crawford County. But almost anyone in our TV viewing area can see at least an inch, maybe even 2 or 3 in some spots. Again, your best chance of seeing more than an inch is probably up in here, north of Interstate 80, but we're splitting hairs a little bit there, and like I just showed you on that model depiction, this is going to be a little bit touch and go, where these things try to wiggle around, and some of these heavier bands might try to penetrate all the way down into southern Pennsylvania and West Virginia as well. So this is going to be, a tricky forecast for our Saturday. So once we get beyond the lake effect event on Saturday, things will be pretty quiet for Sunday and for Monday as well. It's Monday night that this next system will pivot through, and I think there can be a period of wet snow for a time Monday night when most of us are sleeping. But I could see where we might get an inch or two of snow out of this. It probably then tries to melt and be washed away by some raindrops and temperatures getting above freezing during Christmas Eve day, which is Tuesday. But because of that possibility of maybe an inch or two or something like that worth of snow Monday night, and not much time between then and daybreak on Wednesday, Christmas morning, we still can't discount the possibility of a white Christmas in parts of the area. And just a reminder of the definition, the official-ish definition, I should say, of a white Christmas is an inch or more of snow on the ground at 7 a.m. Christmas morning. That's when the official observation is taken, and these numbers will be valid, of course, at the Youngstown Warren Airport. So we don't think there's a great chance of a white Christmas, but I can't rule it out at this point, so we're going to put it up about a 1 in 5 chance at this point. All right, let's talk about the longer range. You know it's going to get warm between Christmas and New Year's, warm by late December standards anyway. Today, the Climate Prediction Center, part of NOAA, part of the National Weather Service, put out their initial outlook for January. This is what the map looks like, and this map may surprise you a little bit if you've been hearing me talking about a pretty cold January being on the table, in my estimation. So I do have some quibbles with their initial January forecast. I read their discussion today, what they based this map off of, and there is a concern that the atmospheric base state, being La Nina, along with uncertainty as to where tropical convection. If you watched Weather Geeks a few days ago, I talked about the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, basically blow-ups of thunderstorms in the tropics from the Indian Ocean over to the Pacific Ocean. Those blow-ups of thunderstorms can manipulate the jet stream and make it do things, and that can impact weather patterns over North America. There's some uncertainty about that MJO signal as we go into January, and so they didn't want to paint a whole lot of cold on this map because of those uncertainties. But if I were drawing the map, I would have an area of below average temperatures painted somewhere like this, including our area. My gut feeling is we have a colder than average January, and perhaps by, a decent margin. So, I'm not going to agree fully with their January outlook, at least their initial outlook. They'll update this at the end of the month, either on the 30th or 31st probably, and we'll see where we are at that point. But their initial outlook, I think it's probably a little bit too warm in too many places, and there's too much hesitancy about the cold. I can see where they're coming from about the La Nina coming on, along with the MJO uncertainty, but I think there's other things going on that tilt the odds in favor of a colder than average outcome for us in the month of January. We'll see if I have egg on my face at the end of January, and we'll, of course, talk more about the longer range in future editions of Weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great rest of your night. Be careful if you'll be out and about Friday morning. I'll be back Friday evening for an update on that weekend forecast, the Christmas forecast, and much, much more.